All right, here. Today I'm going to give y'all my NFL Week 17 predictions. And let's get started.
Ryan Priest, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
Before I get into this weekend's games, I'm going to give out a couple shout outs, if you will. Starting off with my NFL Week 16 Player of the Week, it is going to go to the New Orleans Saints starting running back, Mr. Alvin Kamara. He had 22 carries, 155 yards, and here it is, 6 touchdowns against the Minnesota Vikings. And that win was crucial because since they won that game, they also clinched the South and the NFC. So now they're pretty much locked in. But Alvin Kamara is my player of the week. Now my team of the week, however, is going to go to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins defeated the Las Vegas Raiders this past weekend, and they're getting one step closer into playoff berth, which this will be big because right now they're playing really well right now. They lost a star defensive player yesterday in the game, but I think they'll come back and still make a run at it and still more than likely make the playoffs, depending on what happens with Baltimore. But let's get into the games. All right, here, before I get into the games, I want to add that the NFL will flex one of this weekend's games, 16 games, if you will, into prime time. More than likely, it will be an important game, huge playoff implications. And more than likely, it will be the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. And time will tell, but the NFL has yet to announce that game. But I'm just going to go off the original schedule as they have it on every single website. Starting off Sunday, January 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you got the Miami Dolphins traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. I think this game right here is going to be extremely close. I would expect Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick to get some playing time in this game. And I think Buffalo will win this game 24-21 due to a late second field goal. But Miami's hopes of making the playoffs aren't really over yet. They need some help if they lose this game. But next, you got the Green Bay Packers taking on the red-hot Chicago Bears. Chicago is not going to win the North by any means, but I would expect Green Bay to probably rest a couple starters, if you will. And you never know, Chicago might win this game at home. But when you really think about it, it's the Green Bay Packers we're talking about here going to Soldier Field. Green Bay will win this game 27-20, and that's my opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with me here, but I think the Packers ruined the Chicago Bears' hot streak, and who knows, Chicago can still make it with an Arizona loss. But time will tell. Next, you got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore has to win this game in order to make the playoffs, and they also have to have some help, such as Miami losing or Cleveland losing and Indianapolis. I just don't think that's going to happen. But I do think they will win this game, though, against Cincinnati. I'm saying 42-28. That's pretty fair. I think Cincinnati, as of lately, has been playing a lot better football, and I do think they put up 4 touchdowns in this game. But next, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh, a couple weeks ago, they were undefeated. They played Washington and got beat. And they lost to Buffalo. And they just lost a lot of unnecessary games. They lost to Cincinnati. And a lot of people and fans were questioning what's happening up in Pittsburgh. How did they start off 11-0 undefeated and lose 3 straight? I can be honest with you here, I don't know what happened, but they turned the table this past weekend, defeating the Indianapolis Colts at home. This was a big momentum booster, but unfortunately, the Steelers will not get a first-round bye because the Kansas City Chiefs locked up the first seed, the number 1 seed actually, with a win against the Atlanta Falcons due to a Younghoe Koo field goal miss. Unfortunate there for Pittsburgh, but I do think they will win this game against Cleveland 21-10. And assuming this happens with Baltimore winning, Baltimore will get in and Cleveland will be out. That's unfortunate. But next, you got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions. Following the Week 16 game, the Vikings and the Saints, Mike Zimmer was in a press conference and was asked about his defense. And he stated that this was the worst defense he's ever coached. And trust me when I say this, a lot of them players on that roster probably took that personal. And they will come to this game, and I think they will have a shutout against this Lions offense and win, in my opinion, 13-0. But next, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Y'all remember Week 1, Jacksonville upset Indianapolis at home. I think Indianapolis remembers that really well and will win this game. Here it is, 38-3. But next, you got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City will win this game, but it is going to be a lot closer than the experts think. So Kansas City wins 35-31. But I want to talk about Los Angeles right here for a little while. Justin Herbert, their starting quarterback, he's got a bright future. I know this season hasn't been well for him. He hasn't won on the winning side that often. But with a couple of right draft picks in the future, they're going to be good. I'm just saying this right now. Y'all can get back to me in a couple years from now and see how this turns out. But I'm just saying the Chargers have a bright future, especially their quarterback, Justin Herbert. But next, you got the New York Jets taking on the New England Patriots. This is a game right here that's going to be close, but I think the Patriots will win this game at home, 28-25. But next, you got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Giants. I think Dallas wins this one on the road, 34-31. Next, you got the Washington football team taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Washington will win this game, but it is going to be a low-scoring affair, and I'm saying 16-13. I would expect Jalen Hurts to have a great game, and I really don't know who's going to be Washington's starting quarterback. It changes every single week. Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, it goes back and forth. But I do think Washington wins this game, and yeah. Next, you got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would expect Tampa Bay to sit out Tom Brady because they're not going to get a first-round bye, nor win their division. That they're going to play the week after in the wild card round, so I would expect them to sit out Brady and rest him and make sure he doesn't get hurt. And I would think with Blaine Gabbert starting more than likely for the Buccaneers, it will keep this game close. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on upset alert. I do think they win 28-21. But next, you got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are a weird team. One week they might play really well, and one week they might be like worst team in the NFL. And this week, upcoming week, I think that'd be the worst team. And New Orleans wins 38-14. But next, you got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans. This is similar to the Buccaneers and Falcons game. I would expect the Titans to sit out a couple starters, if you will. This game is pretty much irrelevant, assuming they win in Week 16 against the Packers at Lambeau Field. But the Titans really don't have much to play for, and I would expect them to sit out Ryan Tannehill and maybe Derrick Henry. Who knows? Time will tell. But I do think they win on the road, 35-21. Houston has just gone downhill. They haven't made that many great moves this past offseason, starting off getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins and then firing the head coach in the beginning of the season. That's just ignorant. And yeah, they got a long way to go before they get back to where they were a couple years ago. But now you fast forward to 4:25 p.m. later on that day. You got 3 games right here, but like I said earlier, one game will be flexed into prime time. You got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Denver Broncos. I would expect Las Vegas to win this game and end out the 2020 campaign with a solid victory, building up some momentum for next year. They were sort of banged up at the end of the season, and they unfortunately would not make the playoffs after a great run in late October, early November. But yeah, the Raiders, man, I feel bad for them. They were banged up, but I think they end out the season with a win and build up momentum for next year, 17-9. Next, you got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams will win this game 24-13. And like I said earlier, with Chicago losing, their only hope is now having Arizona lose. And Arizona will lose this game, in my opinion. And Chicago will get into the 2020 and 2020 NFL playoffs. But yeah, the Rams win 24-13. Rounding out Week 17, as of now, got the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. Seattle isn't really playing for much. I think San Francisco wins this game at home 30-27. I think they're playing in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, San Francisco wins 30-27. But those are all of my NFL Week 17 predictions. My game of the week, obviously, is the Dolphins and the Bills. And a game to keep an eye on, my upset alert, is the Falcons and the Buccaneers. But everybody, though, remember to please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for big giveaways in the near future.